Hello everyone! Today we will be talking about the Sumerian civilization that lived on our planet 4,000 years ago. Many things derived from them, like counting the seconds by putting a stamp on the transport bubbles, reclaiming the swamps, and contemplation of the zodiac. How these strange bearded men differed from their contemporaries is a study in itself, and whatever we have discovered over the centuries does not give peace to the scientific community. Welcome back to our channel, and this is the theme of today's video. Society. The ancient Sumer, or the land of civil kings, is probably the cradle of human civilization that can be placed in the territory of contemporary Iraq, for example, Eastern Mesopotamia, and lived from the 4th to the 2nd millennium before Christ. Here, there was its own language and a unique cuneiform script whose origins are still the subject of debate among the Sumeriologists. Based on the ancient texts, the Sumerians created a thriving society where the first parliament existed, and even philosophical debates used to happen there. It had 2 history chambers as well. There existed a fair legislation and an executive system. No traces of unemployment, civil unrest, and poverty were found. The Sumerian society flourished and developed the collection of taxes credit to officials under the management of the virtuous. All were subjected to the law. Thieves and murderers were severely punished. The poor and the weak enjoyed state protection. Origin. Regarding the origin of the Sumerians, historians have not yet reached a unanimous conclusion. Some, referring to the artistic production, trace them back to the culture of the peoples of ancient Turkmenistan. Others draw a parallel with the Proto-Egyptian culture. Still others find the roots of the Sumerians in the Bite culture, which lived on the territory of the Euphrates 6,000 years ago. Scientific knowledge. After thousands of years, the deciphering of Sumerian writing has allowed experts to have a more precise picture of their level of development. It came to light that even 4,000 years ago, in the valleys between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, they knew how to cultivate the vegetable garden, flax drum, wheat, grapes, and fruit trees. They knew how to manage pastures and possessed scientific knowledge in the field of physics, of construction of metallurgy, of medicine, and geography. The Sumerians could already file a patent for the invention of the wheel arc and plow. A primitive freezing system technologies for medicine and surgical therapies was also developed. A canalization system and the production of beer used to happen. It was they who created the signs of the zodiac, now known to all. The 360-degree rotation and the 60-digit number system, they divided the year into 12 months, the week into 7 days, a day into 24 hours, and 1 hour into 60 minutes. The Sumerian court astronomers described the structure of the solar system with great precision. They calculated everything related to celestial bodies. They deciphered the periods of lunar and solar eclipses, created a lunar calendar, and the movement of Jupiter was observed. Architects erected epic ziggurats, the tiered, pyramid-like temples associated with the Sumerian religion, while expert goldsmiths produced precious jewels. All of these things happened while much of humanity led a primitive lifestyle, lived nomadic or in the caves. The Sumerians led psychotherapy sessions, treated cataracts, and explained to the people the advantages of a healthy lifestyle. The debate of creation. The discoveries made by the Sumerians in many fields of exact science and applied knowledge in such a limited historical period represent a phenomenon that is not easy to understand for scientists. They do not even accept the explanations presented by the Sumerians themselves, because otherwise they need to recognize that this knowledge was shared with Laurel at the dawn of time by higher entities from the pantheon of the gods. The decipherment of cuneiform began during the early part of the 19th century, when scholars began to tackle the monumental inscriptions left behind by the Achaemenid Empire. In the ruins of the city Laids found more than 20,000 clay tablets belonging to the Sumerians. There are numerous clay tablets on which stories of the gods are recorded. For instance, the Sumerian creation myth, referred to as the Eridu Genesis by Thorkild Jacobson, and Inanna's descent to the underworld. While the former deals with the Sumerian belief of how the world was created, the latter reveals their beliefs about death and the underworld. Some of them describe the mythical Garden of Eden. The expert of Akkadian Sumerian writing, Anton Parks, deciphered by proposing his own interpretive tradition. According to him, the paradise of Eden and the place where men worked for the good of the gods, they worked as slaves of the most enigmatic places of the Akkadian and Egyptian Sumerian epic. He also talked about the myth of the creation of man by colonists of other planets. According to one of these popular versions, these colonists of other planets were the losers of a cosmic war who, as a result, were forced to look for a new planet, and they landed on Earth about 450,000 years ago. These creatures, called as the Sumerian gods, acted actively to colonize the Earth. Appreciating all the wonders of the strenuous physical work, a series of colonists prayed to the commanders of the mission, the gods, to free them from this onerous task. So, the idea was born of creating humanity for this purpose. Enki and his wife Ninlil acted by fulfilling the request. The first man was created in Eden, a Sumerian word which means flat terrain. In the Epic of Gilgamesh, initially human beings were unable to reproduce on their own, but were later modified with the help of Enki and Ninki. Thus, Adapa was created as a fully functional and independent human being. This modification was done without the approval of Enki's brother, Enlil, and a conflict between the gods began. Enlil became the adversary of man, and the Sumerian tablet mentions that man served gods and went through much hardship and suffering. Zechariah Sitchin theory. The most authoritative proponent and popularizer of the theory of a primordial contract between human and alien creatures was the crypto-historian and journalist Zechariah Sitchin, author of 11 best-selling books and many publications. He independently studied Sumerian writing and participated in the discovery of some archaeological monuments. Zechariah claimed to have found the roots of the Sumerian culture and connected them to the giants, who moved to Earth from the planet Nibiru, or Neptune. The appearance of the Earth of the Moon and the belt of asteroids and comets are connected by Sitchin to the planet Tiamat, which divided itself following a collision. Based on this interpretation, Nibiru rotates itself around an elongated elliptical orbit and passes through our solar system once every 3,600 years. Deciphering the writing, Zechariah Sitchin leads a parallel with the biblical texts and states that part of the scriptures is nothing more than a reinterpretation of the post-Sumerian. As a rule, the followers of this author identify the sky from time to time, the signs of the dangerous approach of Neribu, seeing in it the near end of time. However, the official scientific community considers the theory as a narrative belonging to the commercial fantasy genre, reproaching the author with low-quality translations, scientific and astronomical misinterpretations, and a voluntary mixing of different myths. Chromosome number 2 uses 8% of the DNA of each human cell. Its appearance cannot be traced back to the evolutionary process. According to one of the alternative versions, the answer to this can be found in the Sumerian texts. Artificial appearance of chromosome 2 is the result of a genetic experiment controlled by the god Enki, with the man who inhabited the earth at the time. This explains the sudden acquisition by man, and that separates man sapiens from any other form of terrestrial life. These genes participate in the formation of the cerebral cortex, also responding to skills such as logic, empathy, compassion, and the ability to recognize what happens and to initiate a process of regeneration of the body. Here, apparently, if you believe in the possibilities shown in this video, we must not thank the evolution, but the wisdom and cunning of Enki for our existence. In total, archaeologists have found about 1 million written tablets. We hope that soon the pendulum of truth will be able to orient itself in one direction from the other. For the moment, that's all, my friends, for today's video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like below. Do share your impressions in the comments. See you soon.